While defection from North Korea is a common and understandable occurrence, the opposite scenario of defecting to North Korea is highly uncommon and considered unconventional. Surprisingly, a group of American soldiers chose to defect to North Korea in an unorthodox manner. With shocking reason of defection, let's explore the intriguing stories of these soldiers who defied expectations and made the unusual decision to defect to North Korea. Larry Allen Abshir. Larry Allen Abshir was born in Illinois in the United States and became the first American soldier to defect to North Korea following the Korean War in 1962. Despite being the first to defect, very little information is available about him due to his shy and passive nature, as well as his unfortunate early death. Abshir served as a member of the 1st Reconnaissance Squadron in 9th Cavalry of 1st Cavalry Division, stationed at the demilitarized zone on the North Korean border. His troubles began when he was caught smoking marijuana on multiple occasions, leading to a demotion and fear of facing a court-martial or being dismissed from service. Faced with the prospect of severe consequences, Abshir made a fateful decision in May 1962, when he deserted his post in South Korea and stealthily crossed the demilitarized zone into North Korea. For a period of 3 months, he remained the only American in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea until Private James Joseph Dresnick also defected in August. In North Korea, Abshir, along with other Americans who joined later, found themselves cast in several films such as Unsung Heroes, portraying evil Americans. This role catapulted him to instant celebrity status and, along with the others, became a subject of propaganda for North Korea. Bleak pictures were released showing them living seemingly successful, carefree, and happy lives in utopian North Korea. Abshir lived in North Korea for 21 years before suddenly dying from a heart attack in Pyongyang in 1983 at the age of 40. He had reportedly made a North Korean woman pregnant, but little details are known about it. James Joseph Dresnick. James Joseph Dresnick was born in Virginia and had a difficult upbringing characterized by poverty and instability. His mother, Margaret Dresnick, struggled with financial issues and engaged in prostitution to make ends meet. He and his younger brother were often left in the car while she frequented bars at night. Eventually, the mother lost custody and he was sent to his aunt who never wanted to raise him. Facing a lack of opportunities and dropping out of high school, James joined the army on his 17th birthday, believing it was one of the few opportunities available left for him. His first military service was 2 years spent in West Germany, where he reported being treated harshly after one minor offense and being forced to clean an armored truck with a toothbrush in sub-zero temperatures. It's here that he got the thought of crossing into communist East Germany, although abandoned the idea as he thought they would interrogate him and send him back. After returning to the United States, he found out that his wife had cheated and left him for another man. He filed a divorce, and he re-enlisted and was deployed to South Korea. Stationed along the Korean demilitarized zone, he became depressed and disillusioned, having lost any hope for a future. Outside the army, James began spending all his military earnings on prostitutes and alcohol. Soon after his arrival, he found himself facing a court-martial for forging his sergeant's signatures on the paperwork that gave him permission to leave the base, which ultimately led to his going AWOL, absent without leave. Having lost hope for his life and future and being unwilling to face punishment, on August 15, 1962, 3 hours before he was due to meet with Captain Thomas Bryan regarding the court-martial, while his fellow soldiers were eating lunch, he ran across a minefield in broad daylight into Gyeongdong in North Korean territory, where he was quickly apprehended by North Korean soldiers. In North Korea, like Larry Allen Abshir, Dresnick found himself involved in several films. He married twice, first to a Romanian woman named Bumba, with whom he had 2 sons, Ricardo Dresnick and James Gabriel Dresnick, who are now in the North Korean military. After the death of Doina, he married his 3rd wife, known as Data, and they had a son named Tony in 2001. The North Korean government provided the family with a small apartment and a monthly stipend Due to Dresnick's role as an English teacher, Dresnick's health deteriorated over time, suffering from heart and liver issues attributed to smoking and excessive drinking. He passed away from a stroke in November 2016. His sons released a statement affirming their loyalty to Kim Jong-un and issuing a warning of retaliation against the United States if a preemptive strike was launched against North Korea. Jerry Wayne Parish. Parish was originally from Kentucky and served as a corporal in the U.S. Army and was stationed in South Korea. In 1963, he made the decision to defect and crossed the demilitarized zone into North Korea. Although Parish did not provide detailed explanations, he cited personal reasons for his defection and mentioned a threat of his father-in-law killing him if he was to return home. A documentary featuring James Joseph Dresnick revealed that Parish had received death threats from his stepfather, who accused him of engaging in a sexual relationship with his stepsister. Like the other three defectors, Parish eventually obtained North Korean citizenship. He married Siham Shreda, a woman from Lebanon, and they had 3 sons, 2 of whom were named Michael and Ricky. According to the film Crossing the Line, Parish passed away after battling kidney problems for 20 years. Meanwhile, Siham and their children remain in North Korea. Charles Robert Jenkins. Charles Robert Jenkins was born in North Carolina in 1940. Lacking a high school diploma, he enlisted in the North Carolina National Guard. After his honorable discharge from the Guard, he enlisted in the active-duty United States Army as a light weapons infantryman. He volunteered to be deployed to South Korea 2 different times. On his second deployment to the Korean demilitarized zone, driven by fear of combat and possible service in the Vietnam War, the 24-year-old crossed the demilitarized zone after consuming alcohol to build courage. He disappeared into the night and walked towards North Korea, where he intended to seek asylum with the Soviet Union and later return to the US via a prisoner exchange. Instead, he was captured and held prisoner in North Korea for over 39 years. In North Korea, Jenkins was housed with other American deserters, including Larry Allen Abshir, James Joseph Dresnick, and Jerry Wayne Parish. They faced difficult conditions and were constantly under surveillance. Jenkins was forced to memorize Kim Il-sung's writings and became an English teacher and translator for the communist state. In 1980, Jenkins was assigned to marry Hitomi Soga, a Japanese student nurse who had been kidnapped by North Korean agents. They had 2 daughters, and Jenkins considered Soga to be the best thing that had happened to him, acknowledging that she saved his life. During the North Korean famine that killed millions of North Koreans, as an asset for propaganda, Jenkins and his family still received rations of clothing, insect-infested rice, soap, and a monthly income of $120. With improved Japanese-North Korean relations, Jenkins was allowed to travel to Japan and flee the communist Korean state in 2004. Jenkins cooperated with the U.S. Army upon his return and served a short 25-day sentence due to his cooperation. Until his death in 2017, he lived in Japan with his wife and daughters. They even wrote a book about their experiences in North Korea and worked in a local museum. Jenkins became a celebrity in Japan due to his extraordinary life story. Chung and his family immigrated to the United States from South Korea in 1973. According to his father, Chung Soo O enlisted in the army to gain access to education benefits. However, he went missing and was reported as absent without leave while serving with his unit near Bayreuth in West Germany. After a month passed, he was officially classified as a deserter. 2 months after his disappearance in Europe, North Korea's international broadcasting service, Radio Pyongyang, announced that Chung had defected. They stated that he could no longer bear the perceived disgrace and maltreatment he faced while serving in the U.S. imperialist aggressor army. However, Chung's family and Korean-American groups held different beliefs. They thought that he had been abducted by North Korean agents and did not willingly defect. During that time, officials from the United States Department of State and the Pentagon stated that they had no reason to doubt North Korea's claims of defection, since Chung did not have access to classified information and was not considered a security threat. The discrepancy in perceptions between North Korea's announcement of defection and the family's belief of abduction led to an unresolved and contentious situation. Joseph T. White. While he was still in the U.S., he attended a YMCA model legislature and introduced a bill requiring 11 months of reserve military service for all 18-year-old males. In 1980, he introduced a bill in the model legislature that called for Missouri to withdraw from the Union and a list of present abuses and injustices of the federal government. Rejected by West Point, White attended Kemper Military School in Missouri, but dropped out and enlisted in the Army as an infantryman. He was stationed in South Korea with the 1st Battalion, 31st Infantry Regiment. In the early morning of August 28, 1982, White shot the lock off a gate leading into the Korean demilitarized zone and walked through it with a duffel bag containing stolen documents, including the layout of mines on the South Korean side of the demilitarized zone. He surrendered to North Korean troops, denouncing the United States and affirming his defection as a demonstration against the U.S. military presence in South Korea. However, his stay in North Korea did not last long, as in November 1985, White's parents received a letter from a North Korean contact stating that their son had drowned in a river in August 1985 and his body was not recovered. Travis King. Travis Gates King is a United States Army soldier who allegedly defected to North Korea on July 18, 2023. Born in 1999, King enlisted in the United States Army in January 2021, serving as a cavalry scout. He faced assault charges and was detained for 47 days at a South Korean detention facility until his release on July 10, 2023. After being released, King spent a week under observation at a United States military base in South Korea as part of his out-processing. On July 17, 2023, he was escorted by the military to the Incheon International Airport, where he was to board a flight to Fort Bliss, Texas, for further disciplinary measures in the United States. However, upon reaching the customs checkpoint, the military escort, who had no ticket, could not accompany him further. King proceeded alone into the terminal. Unexpectedly, instead of boarding his flight, King bought a ticket for a public tour of the Korean demilitarized zone in Panmunjom. During the tour, he made a daring escape by running across the border into North Korea. As of July 19, 2023, it has been confirmed that King is in North Korea under the custody of the North Korean government.